17,000 eyes are on her. Every defender in the arena keyed in. Every game plan is built around stopping her. And yet, Caitlin Clark, just 22, steps onto the court as if the world belongs to her. The league threw everything at her. Full court music presses, double teams, and relentless physicality, all designed to break a rookie. For 1 minute, it almost worked. Then she exploded. Logo-to-logo threes, triple-doubles, no first-year player had ever achieved, record-breaking assists, career-high scoring nights.
Here comes Clark. How will she go for history? There it is!
Rewriting what it means to dominate in the WNBA. The question isn't whether she can handle the pressure, it's whether anyone can stop music her. Rookie of the Century. Here's what you have to understand about Caitlin Clark as a basketball player. She didn't come into the WNBA trying to be a scorer. And that might sound strange for someone who broke the all-time NCAA scoring record, but it's true. She came in trying to be a point guard. Watch her first few games. She's pushing the ball in transition, reading defenses, swinging it to the open shooter. She's averaging 8 assists a game right out of the gate. That's not a scorer's mentality. That's a floor general. She's trying to figure out her teammates, trying to learn the speed, trying to understand the spacing. And honestly, that's what made what came next so much more dangerous. Because when the shots did start falling, they didn't stop. May 28, 2024. Indiana versus the Los Angeles Sparks. Clark goes off for 30 points. It's only her 6th professional game. 30 assists, 5 rebounds. The fever loosens, which stings, but something shifts that night. You could feel it as she went at defenders. She pulled up from deep without hesitation. She created space with a step back that looked like it belonged in a different sport. And then it happened again. June 7th, Washington Capital One Arena. 20,000 people crammed into a building that hadn't hosted a crowd like that for women's basketball in almost 2 decades.
Capital One Arena is the home of the Washington Wizards as well as the Capitals. The venue features a capacity of 20,356 for basketball.
And the reason? One name, one player. Clark comes out and hits a 3, then another, then another. She misses her first 2. And you think maybe it's going to be one of those nights. But if you know anything about shooters, real shooters, you know the miss doesn't mean anything. It's the confidence that matters. And Clark's confidence never wavered. 3, 4, 5, 6. She's pulling up from 25 to 26 feet. Defenders are closing out hard. And she's stepping back into another dimension. The crowd is on its feet. Not just Fever fans, everyone. Because when you're watching someone hit shots from that range, from that deep, with that much music poise, you stop caring about the jersey. You just watch. 7 3-pointers, 30 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals.
Clark has done it again, trending in sports. The Indiana Fever rookie in the WNBA set another scoring record.
She ties Crystal Robinson's rookie record for threes in a game, and she does it in front of the biggest regular season WNBA crowd in 17 years. And here's the thing that made it special. The week before, she scored 3 points against Liberty, 3 points on 1 for 10 shooting, the worst game of her career, the kind of game that makes people write think pieces, the kind of game that makes the doubters feel validated. She responded with 7 threes and 30 points. That's not luck, Shenna. That's not a hot streak. That's the mentality. That's a player who refuses to let one bad night define her. Her teammates felt it too. Kelsey Mitchell, who'd been the Fever's best player for years, suddenly had a running mate. Aaliyah Boston had a point guard who could find her in spots she'd never gotten the ball before. The entire offense started breathing differently. The ball moved faster, the spacing got wider, and the shots got cleaner. Because when your point guard can pull up from the logo and make you pay, everything opens up for everyone else. That's the gravity of Caitlin Clark. She doesn't just score. She warps the geometry of the entire floor. But as the shots kept falling, the physicality started rising. Knocked down, never out. Let's be real about something. Every great rookie in every sport goes through it. Kind of like Michael Jordan went through it. LeBron went through it. Steph Curry went through it. When you come into a professional league with that much hype, that much attention, and that much media coverage, The veterans are going to test you. That's not hate. That's basketball. That's competition. That's the unspoken code of professional sports. Prove you belong, and you'll earn your respect. But what Clark dealt with in her rookie season.
Breaking news here on SportsCenter, and a surprise to absolutely nobody. Caitlin Clark has been named WNBA Rookie of the Year, the #1 overall pick.
Went beyond a standard welcome. She was the third most fouled player in the entire WNBA, not just among rookies in the entire league. In the first third of the season alone, she'd absorbed 46 fouls, hard screens, body checks off the ball, defenders grabbing her jersey on cuts, and hands on her hip when she tried to get around picks. It was constant every night, every game. And then came June 1st on Indiana versus Chicago. It's a dead ball. Clark is standing on the baseline waiting for an inbound pass. Her back turned, and out of nowhere, a shoulder. A full hip and shoulder check sends her to the floor. No play on the ball, no basketball reason for the contact, just a hit. The officials called it a common foul during the game. The next day, the WNBA reviewed the tape and upgraded it to a flagrant one. The basketball world erupted. Commentators debated it for days. Former NFL players weighed in. NBA stars weighed in. It became the biggest story in sports for an entire week. But here's what matters. And here's what got lost in all the noise. Watch what Clark did after she got hit. She got up. She walked to the free throw line. She made her free throws. And she went right back to playing music, basketball. No screaming, no complaining. In a no retaliation, after the game, she stood in front of the cameras and said something that told you everything about who she was. I wasn't expecting it, but it is what it is. It's a physical game. Go make the free throw and execute on offense. That's it. That's the whole quote. No drama, no finger pointing, just compete. And that became the template for her entire season. Teams sent double teams at her the second she crossed half court. They put their most physical defenders on her. They denied her the ball. They clutched and grabbed and bumped and fouled. Clark's answer every single time was the same. Make the free throw. Find the open teammate. Hit the next shot.
Caitlin Clark to fire away from three. Cunningham just now getting up as she stayed down near the free throw line on the other end.
Don't give them the satisfaction of seeing you rattle. She shot over 90% from the free throw line that season. 90. That's not just skill. That's ice. That's a player who gets knocked down and goes to the line thinking about nothing except the rim. There's a moment, and I wish more people talked about this, late music, in the season where a defender sets an absurdly hard off-ball screen on Clark. The kind of screen that makes you wince, music, when you see the replay. Clark hits the floor, gets up, doesn't even look at the defender, jogs back into the play, gets the ball on the next possession, and hits a pull-up three. That's not toughness you can teach. That's character. They tried to make it uncomfortable, but discomfort, music, is where stars are born. The evolution. Here's the part of the story that doesn't make the highlight reels but matters more than any shot she ever hits. Caitlin Clark grew up not just as a scorer, not just as a shooter. She grew up as a basketball player, as a leader, as someone who understood that the WNBA wasn't going to bend to her. She had to learn how to bend the game to her will. Early in the season, the turnovers were real. She had 10 in her debut. She turned it over 5, 6, or 7 times a game regularly. Part of it was the speed of the league. Part of it was learning new teammates. Part of it was trying to make passes that worked in college but didn't work against WNBA defenders who were faster, longer, and smarter. And this is where a lot of players stall out. This is the moment where some rookies retreat. They stop trying the ambitious pass. They pull back. They play it safe. They protect their stats instead of pushing their limits. Clark didn't do that. She kept throwing the passes. She kept pushing the tempo. She kept reading defenses and trusting her vision. But she started making adjustments, subtle ones, the kind of adjustments you only notice if you're really watching. She started using ball fakes before cross-court passes to freeze the help defender for an extra half second. She started recognizing double teams a step earlier and finding the open shooter before the trap closed. She started understanding which teammates could handle which passes, who wanted the ball low, who wanted it high, who could catch and shoot, and who needed a beat. July 6th, Indiana versus the New York Liberty, the defending Eastern Conference champions, one of the best teams in the league. Clark puts up 19 points, 13 assists, and 12 rebounds. A triple-double.
Clark running. Clark eyes up behind the back, through the lane, lays it in.
The first by any rookie in WNBA history ever. Nobody had done it before. Let that sink in. And in the entire history of the WNBA, every rookie from every draft class, every lottery pick, every generational talent, none of them had ever recorded a triple-double. Clark did it in her first season against the Liberty in a game the Fever won. And she did it again 2 months later. 24 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists against the Sparks. She had 2 triple-doubles in a season where nobody before her had managed one as a rookie. But the growth went beyond the stat lines. Watch how she ran the Fever's offense in August compared to May. It was a different player. In May, she was reacting. By August, she was orchestrating. She controlled the tempo. She knew when to push music and when to pull back. She knew when to shoot and when to pass and when to just slow the whole thing down and call a play. On July 17th, she set the WNBA single-game assist record. 19 assists. That's not a typo. 19. She broke Courtney Vandersloot's record, a record held by one of the greatest passers in the history of the league. And Clark did it as a rookie. She scored or assisted on 66 points that night, breaking Diana Taurasi's record for points produced in a game. 19 assists. Think about what that number means. That's 19 times she put the ball exactly where it needed to be for a teammate, music, to score. 19 individual moments of trust, vision, and execution in a single game. She also broke Tisha Panero's rookie assist record that had stood since 1998. 26 years. Nobody had touched it. And here's what I think made the biggest difference. Her teammates started playing differently. Kelsey Mitchell started cutting harder because she knew the pass was coming. Aaliyah Boston started flashing to spots because she knew Clark could find her through traffic. The whole team's confidence went up because their 22-year-old point guard made everyone around her feel like they could make the next shot. That's the evolution. It's not just about what Clark, music, did. It's about what she made possible for everyone else. And then came the night everything clicked. The statement games. The Olympic break changed everything. Clark was controversially left off the Team USA roster. A decision that sparked its own firestorm of debate. But instead of sulking about it, she used the month off to rest, reset, and come back with a vengeance that nobody in the league was ready for. In her first 10 games after the break, she averaged 24.7 points and 9.3 assists per game.